Okay, this is another example where when you look in the comment section under some of these CNN videos, you see a whole lot of people kind of waking up to what's going on. I'm going to play the first couple minutes of this. Stay tuned. I've already dealt with this Iowa farmer, this retired Iowa farmer who confronted Joe Biden about his dealings in the Ukraine with his son. And it's kind of interesting the angle that CNN's coming at it with, because it looks like they're kind of trying to throw Biden under the bus now. So he's probably long outlived his longevity with CNN. So listen to this.
Throughout the campaign for the Democratic nomination, people questioned Joe Biden's age and stamina, subtly or not. The president's called him sleepy and slow. During the CNN Democratic debate in September, Julian Castro cut Biden off and asked if he'd forgotten what he had just said minutes earlier. Castro later denied the charge of ageism. Today, at an event in Iowa, Biden faced an audience member who prodded him about his son Hunter's business in Ukraine, and this is how he defended himself.
We all know Trump has been messing around in the Ukraine over there, holding their foreign aid for them to come up saying they're going to investigate you. We know all about that crap. And he's no backbone, we know that for that. But you, on the other hand, sent your son over there to get a job and work for a gas company that he had no experience with gas or nothing, in order to get access for the president. So you're selling access to the president just like he was. So
you're a damn liar, man. That's not true. And no one has ever said that? No one has proved that?
I see it on the TV.
You see it on the TV.
The farmer could have chosen his words just a little bit better to keep himself from looking like he believes everything he hears on TV. And given him the benefit of the doubt, I think he meant that he heard Biden say with his own mouth that he was going to withhold $1 billion worth of taxpayer-extorted Ukrainian aid if a prosecutor wasn't fired. This is what I think the farmer was talking about.
I said, I'm telling you, you're not getting $1 billion. I said, you're not getting $1 billion. I'm going to be leaving here. And I think it was, 6 hours? I said, I'm leaving in 6 hours. If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. You got fired.
I see it on the TV.
You see it on the TV. No, I know you do. And by the way, that's why I'm not sedentary. I get up and no, let him go. Let him go. Look, the reason I'm running is because I've been around a long time and I know more than most people know. And I can get things done. That's why I'm running. And you want to check my shape on it, let's do push-ups together here, man. Let's run. Let's do whatever you want to do. Let's take a nice.
It's amazing how the crowd can get worked up for absolute nonsense. There was nothing I almost called him O'Biden. There's nothing that Biden said here that warranted applause, because first of all, he hasn't yet dealt with the real issue that this guy brought up about putting the presidency on the line and all that by, the leverage, the $1 billion leverage from Ukraine. If you don't get rid of this certain person, I got 6 hours. Okay. Unless you do that, I'm not going to release the funds kind of thing. Not dealing with that kind of issue. And he won't. He's going to go on to number two.
No one has said my son has done anything wrong, and I did not on any occasion.
No one has said my son has done anything wrong. A lot of people are saying, number one, a lot of people are saying that his son has done major things wrong. His son's interview was an absolute disaster, actually confirming the things that people were saying about Hunter Biden. And number two, why doesn't he just say my son has done nothing wrong? Because he can't, because they're both doing things wrong. They're both criminals.
And no one has ever said it. Not
I didn't
one.
say you were doing anything wrong.
You said I set up my son to work in an oil company.
That's what your son basically said. He's riding the coattails of Daddy Vice President. That's what your son said. Yeah, he's gotten a lot of benefits in life from the Biden name. That is setting up your son, whether you like it or not.
Is that what you said? Get your words straight, Jack.
That's what I hear on MSNBC.
You don't hear that in MSNBC. You did not hear that at all. What you heard. Look, okay, I'm not going to get in an argument with you, man.
Well, I don't want to.
Well, yeah, you do, but look, fat, look, here's the deal.
I think that was a slip up. Look, fat.
Look, fat, look.
I don't know why other mainstream outlets haven't picked up on that. Biden is grilling this guy, and he lays into him on the physical aspect. Let's do some push-ups, sit-ups. Let's find out who's got what. Listen, fat. He meant to say that.
Here's the deal.
It looks like you don't have any more backbone than Trump does.
And all the lemmings said, "Oh." Look at him waving him off. All right, so Anderson Cooper comes back on. But what I found interesting about this is the horrible, so like it's got a 75%, which means about a 25-30% dislike rating, 75% like rating. Poor Biden probably didn't remember how he went off the rails. I like this one. Joe is the gift that keeps on gaffing. The man says, "You're corrupt. Biden, let's have a push-up contest." Just completely skirting around the real issue. When Trump calls him out, he's going to ask Trump to do push-ups against him on the national debate stage. Laughing my ass off. That's going to be priceless. Quote from Racist Joe, "Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids." You remember when he said that? Look, this guy picked up on it. Did anyone catch Biden say, "Look fat"? He gets really upset when somebody talks about crimes he committed and bragged about. And you can see it on video, guys. He's at a Council on Foreign Relations meeting, talking to his buddies, talking about how he withheld $1 billion worth of taxpayer money, Ukrainian aid. See, the real issue here is that. Nobody's talking about that. What the hell are our political overlords giving $1 billion in tax extorted money to Ukraine for? Why the $300 or $400 million? That's the real issue. That the fact that there's that sum of money to be given away anyway, when we have 500,000 homeless people on American streets that have no shelter and no food. You didn't hear that on MSNBC. They're all on my payroll. Went off the rails. Thanks, Captain Obvious. That's when Axelrod gets on here and says that Biden went off the rails. YouTube, Joe Biden and hairy legs. Remember the video I did on that?
And by the way, you know, I sit on the stand, and it get hot. I got hairy legs that turn blonde in the sun. And the kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down so it was straight, and then watch the hair come back up again. They'd look at it. So I learned about roaches. I learned about kids jumping on my lap. And I've loved kids jumping on my lap.
Cognitive decline, and his staff and family should intervene. No, we didn't hear it on MSNBC. We heard it from your own mouth.
I said, "I'm telling you, you're not getting $1 billion. I said, "You're not getting $1 billion. I'm going to be leaving here." And I think it was, 6 hours? I said, "I'm leaving in 6 hours. If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money."
And that's the kind of stuff that Joe Biden sidesteps, guys. Never deals with real substantive issues. I'm not sedentary is another way of saying I'm not fat like you. Biden needs to be evaluated for Alzheimer's, or maybe he's just that weird. Here we go. "I'm leaving in 6 hours. If the prosecutor isn't fired in 6 hours, you won't get the $1 billion. Joe Biden." And this is probably one of the funniest ones. Biden started a campfire on a wooden boat in the middle of the ocean. Guys, leave your thoughts about this for the world and the Google Thought Police in the comments section below. And I'll see you guys in the next heavily censored shadow ban video.